Welcome to the Elite Podcast, where we discuss business, family, and life. Now, welcome to your hosts, Mr. H. Rod himself, Henry Rodriguez, and Ryan Arditty, the SCV MVP.
All right, podcast world, we are back with the exclusive EliteX podcast. It's your favorite insurance guy, Henry Rodriguez, and once again with none other than
It's your boy, the SCV MVP.
Hey, MVP. You looking good, dude.
Really?
A little plump, though.
Okay.
A little plump.
I love it because we're always honest. Stay honest, please.
Tell us about your world endeavors.
Am I like Peruvian plump?
I think so. What was your favorite pollo saltado that you had out there, dude?
So for all of you who didn't know, I just got back from Peru.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. It's my third time out there. Shout out to
Third time this year, it feels like.
I didn't really tell anybody, but I guess the news is out already.
You didn't really tell anybody, but you told everybody.
You know me, I can only keep a secret for
voice?
so long.
Right,
right.
You guys are my friends. You guys
yeah.
are my friends. The cool thing about Peru is it's affordable for sure.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
What are we talking about?
So for Uber for 2 weeks, I think it was less than $200.
For 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
That's like a day here in LA for Uber.
I went to New York. That was like a minute.
Oh my God.
It was like a mile up the street.
$200?
$200.
Wow. Okay. For the entire, you were there for 2 weeks.
Oh, and I'm Ubering everywhere.
Okay. Which makes sense at $200 for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Now it does take 4 hours to go 1 mile in Peru. There are more cars in Peru, and there's cars I've never even heard of.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
so
different country, different cars. Yeah.
That does make sense. Yeah,
It makes
make sense. I went out there because my girlfriend's grandfather was 100.
Okay,
100 years old.
Okay,
100.
That's awesome.
Still drinking, partying, eating lomo
That's a
sentado.
different lifestyle, huh? It's like no wonder why you live into 100.
I can't
just
believe
living, loving life.
I mean, in our business, if we live to 100,
oh, you're lucky.
Oh man,
you're lucky.
There's people passing out right now.
especially today's market for sure. So you had fun?
I had a great time. Yeah, it was
awesome. Do you want to give a shout out to somebody? Maybe your special lady?
Shout out to my special lady, Mrs. Rojas.
Sassy, that was for me, by the way.
That was for me.
I have to remind this guy.
Don't look him at the eye on this podcast, okay? No, it was awesome. I had a great time, but I am glad to be back.
Okay.
Super glad to be back.
Awesome.
How about you?
I get to do, so I haven't done any traveling just yet. Well, a little bit.
You just got back from somewhere.
That was back in March. So okay. our next vacation is next month, and we're going to take the boys to Disney World.
Oh, Orlando.
We finally got them there where it's like I take it back. So they're now 10 and 12. So Jaden, shout out to Jaden Rodriguez, who will have a birthday September 25th. But we're almost at the age where I'm not even cool anymore. I'm like the weird old guy now, right? I know the voice knows about this with his son who's a teenager.
Yeah.
But my 10 and 12-year-old, like I used to be like their hero. And we're getting over that year or the age where you're just not that cool anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Dad, you're bothering me. Dad, you're annoying.
Yeah.
So we're at that age where I can still take him to Disney World and have a good time. So it should be special.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You haven't been cool for a while, right?
Wow. Okay.
And you can't beat them in sports anymore. So
I agree. I cannot beat them at sports anymore.
Your Achilles was torn jumping.
I tore my calf muscle for sure playing with my little one.
Tell the listeners how you tore it real quick.
It wasn't. It's actually embarrassing. Playing horse with my 10-year-old Mason Rodriguez. I wanted to beat him so bad. He can't really make the layups yet because he's not tall enough. I was going up for a layup, came down, crack, pop, completely partially tore my left calf muscle.
It's like the Rice Krispie injury,
How not exciting is that?
Crackle, pop?
Man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But
you look good, though.
It is what it is. We'll rebound from it. But yeah, I'm no longer the cool dad anymore.
You know what it is with kids that 12, 13, they kind of go away. My son's 20.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming back.
He's coming back? Okay.
Yeah, they're coming back. So
what about you?
You don't want. I don't want to be the cool dad.
You okay?
To be honest with you, I want to be the dad that is respected. That we have a relationship where you and I'm the boss. You're the son. When I tell you to do something, you move and do it. But I was the fun dad, right? But the fun dad just needs to make sure the kids are ready to leave the house one day at this point now.
Right. Don't get me wrong, for sure. I'm definitely the disciplinary in the household. But now it's the whole different dynamic going into those teenage years, you know?
Sure.
Which you're in the thick of things right now.
Oh, man.
With Jacobo.
Yeah.
So
you're doing great, though. You're doing great. So, yeah, you're doing awesome.
He is one of my favorite teenagers.
We could always do better.
We could always do better for sure.
He's doing amazing.
I'm kidding.
Can you give him a shout out, please?
He gets all the shout outs.
No, but he deserves a lot of credit.
I love you, son, and I enjoy setting the bar very high and watching you go get it.
All right, man.
Almost as high as his.
That's his hair.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
Hey, you guys have been trying to get me off this hair thing for a while.
If
I'm
everyone
gonna
could
keep
see the
growing.
voice's hair, I think it's sky high and it's competing with Josh King right now.
What's
Definitely,
up, Josh?
Josh, you have some competition over here, brother.
Hey, let me get some of that Josh King money.
All right. Well, with that being said,
Yeah.
should we bring on our guest?
I'm excited.
All right, let's do it. Drum roll. Opal, thank you so much for
Hi.
being on our episode.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Of course, love having you here. Love the lady boss vibes.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Love all
you.
that. Tell us.
It's more like a dictatorship.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
take boss.
I won't argue with you. I
Happy
won't
girl,
argue
happy
with you.
world.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a wife and mom, my number one role, and I am a local business owner. I've been a business owner for a while, but this is my first time owning a business in SCV, and
Okay.
it is very different. But I'm just rolling with the punches and just, taking it day by day.
How is that different?
My other businesses, they were in a community that I didn't live in. And so there was a certain bit of a separation. It was just business,
Okay.
and I was able to leave my business at the end of the day and come home and live my personal life. And they were totally separate and in tandem. But opening a business in a place where you live and where you raise your children is
different.
totally different,
Different,
because spotlight's on you
Mm-hmm.
and there's a very personal connection there.
I
So
love
it's a reflection
Yeah.
for sure.
There is something to be said about working in the community where you live, right?
Yes.
Because now those customers become family and you see
Yeah.
them a lot more. And
They see you for who you are.
Yeah.
You're the mom at that school. Your son is friends with my son, that
Yep.
sort of thing. And the bar feels a little bit higher. Not to say that my other businesses weren't important, but it was a little bit more of a numbers game. Whereas my success and what I consider a good day, the parameters are different. It isn't just about the numbers anymore.
that's a great point, right?
Yeah.
The bar is higher because those customers you're going to see all the time.
Absolutely.
If you're not living in the community, maybe they come in, you don't ever see them. Now you're seeing them repeatedly, which is the bar could be high, but it's a good
Right.
bar to set.
There's like a accountability there that
Yeah.
wasn't there
Yeah.
as intensely as
Yeah.
before.
No, I can agree with you more. We have something in common. Palmdale.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Oh man. Well, born and raised. And you know what? It gets a bad rep, but I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of good memories there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
still have a lot of friends and family there. It's just over the hill.
Yeah.
We act like we left it and it was like
Everyone
like
in
we
Santa
took
Clarita.
the wagon train and
Everyone
went
in
across
Santa
country.
Clarita has like a 2-mile radius. So like
Yeah.
it's like forever to go to Palmdale.
Yes,
It's 45
but
minutes, guys.
I know.
Let me ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
East side or west
Oh,
side?
Of course, East Side. Why do you think I'm prepared for anything?
okay. So when I lived there, I was on the west side. I was in Rancho Vista. So
Okay.
you're on the east side. So you said you went to what high school?
Palmdale High.
Palmdale High. Okay. That's awesome.
Yes.
All right.
You guys were rivals?
We were rivals,
Okay.
basically.
We were rival
Yeah.
schools. Yeah.
Rival schools
absolutely.
for sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's get into the topic in terms of your business. Okay.
Okay.
Tell us about a little bit about your professional career and what inspired you to open Funburger.
Food has always been in my background, right? Not only a personal hobby and a passion, but my educational background is in food. But when I got married, my husband was in automotive, and I just sort of I went that direction, and I learned the ropes of business, and it was great working alongside my husband. But food was always in the background,
Yeah.
and what really changed things for me was COVID, believe it or not. Because one of the reasons why I never took the plunge was because I had a routine, I had stability, I had security, and when you have a family, that's very important. But when COVID hit, any sense of what was normal
Right.
and routine and reality, we were jarred out of
For
that.
sure.
Crazy.
Whether we were prepared or not. So at that point, since my new normal was up in the air, that's when I kind of got a little bit of the courage to start something.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I
So-
love that.
It's kind of crazy through that traumatic time, like greatness can be born.
100%.
right?
I think COVID was a game changer for a lot of businesses, right?
Yep.
And I love how you talked about that you were comfortable. And it's for me, it's always like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? I think growth is when you get outside of your box, right? Because
Yep.
most people live in this box here, right? And there's no growth there. There's never going to be growth if you just live in your box on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
Right, voice? I know you want to chime in on this.
I'll
you
stay
don't want to
quiet.
say anything?
I'll stay
Okay,
quiet.
but I love that you mentioned that, which makes you a true entrepreneur.
And
Yes.
the fear is real. And when I learned to embrace that fear and the unknown and the insecurity, that's when I was really able to thrive, because for a long time I was paralyzed with the fear.
Yeah, I love that you talked about, because I've been fortunate to be in business with The Voice here, and we had talked about one of our newer ventures here. I'm like, I'm really excited, but I have butterflies. I'm a little nervous and scared about this. But then when I was reflecting, I was talking about, like, you know what, if it wasn't for a little, being uncomfortable, having those butterflies, being a little scared, then it's probably not worth it. It's not the right move unless you have those feelings.
Right.
Right. So go in and do it and get outside of your comfort zone. Would you agree?
Yes, and listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
I feel like the answer's inside and we know it, and it's our knee-jerk reaction is usually the correct one.
Yeah.
It's when we start to second guess ourselves that we run into trouble.
Love it.
I think those butterflies are because you care.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I think if you
invested.
don't care, then you don't have that nervousness or those butterflies. And it goes all the way from a business owner to professional athletes.
I think it's even bigger than that. If you don't have that, that little bit of fear or those butterflies that we're relating to, it's not even worth it to do it, right? If it doesn't do that, then it's probably not big enough for you to take that leap of faith and do it.
Absolutely.
Make sense? Yeah.
I got butterflies now.
It's probably all the food you ate from Peru, bro.
Yeah, it could be. It could
All
be.
right. Opal, if you could tell us a little bit about the restaurant and the theme of it.
Okay. Well, that's simple. It's a little unconventional. So, before COVID, we were always socializing with our neighbors. We had a really big sense of community. We have a lot of kids. And when you want to hang out with the kids and the other parents, you want a place that's casual and fun, but that the kids are going to have a good time. And so when I thought of the perfect restaurant and what I felt that, SCV could use was a place that's casual enough. You can bring the kids. They can run around. I promise you they won't destroy anything. It is kid-proof in there. They have a good time, but then the parents can have a good time. And you can linger. You don't feel like a sense that you have to leave. And it's casual enough to where you can go regularly. I
can just drop off my kids and you guys will babysit?
I
Is that what I'm
probably
hearing?
wouldn't
Is that what I'm
notice.
hearing?
There's so many kids. I probably would. Probably.
You know what's funny? That theme is you kind of had the same approach with your most recent event. Bring your family to what traditionally is more of an adult event, correct?
I think that's what Santa Clarita is all about, and what we need more of is to be able to bring the family and know that the kids, there's a place where they're not going to disturb everyone, and the adults can kind of let their hair down a little bit, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you did with the last Michael Hoffman Foundation with Cheers for Charity.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Great success. Yeah. It was awesome.
So
I
you guys
think
are
anytime. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
go.
I was thinking anytime you can combine family, food, entertainment, nonprofit, whatever it is, into one location or one thing. That's pretty. It's not easy to do, but when you do, it becomes amazing.
And that literally defines what like SCV is.
Yes,
right.
100%.
As a culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean. Another question for you. So challenges. I know being an entrepreneur is it's not all rainbows and butterflies at all times, right? We all have challenges. So maybe talk about some of your challenges you faced running a restaurant, especially here locally.
Well, being able to adapt is really important, because you can have the best business plan and ideas, and you give them your all. But at the end of the day, there's this factor that's outside of your control, and that's your customers and your community. So if they're not receptive to it, and maybe the timing is off or whatever reason, you have to learn to let go.
Yeah.
And let them guide you, as opposed to being stuck in this box and this idea that you have that may not work.
Right.
Because there's a lot of, it's liberating once you come to terms with that.
Yeah.
And that's easier said than done, right?
100%.
You got to be able to take, not calling it criticism, but maybe advice and roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to ask, you mentioned, I guess cooking was more of a hobby before COVID.
Well, I have a master's in food science,
Oh.
so I took it a little past a hobby.
That's definitely not a hobby.
And then I am
Sorry.
Wow, yeah. Just throw that bomb out there like
Yeah,
that.
and
huh?
I do.
Okay.
I went
100%
to
not a
culinary
hobby.
school. I am a chef, so
Okay.
yeah. So
Wow.
So food was your passion. It was
yes,
everything.
it was
Okay.
everything.
So
but
we should be referring to as Chef
Yeah,
Opal.
yeah, for sure.
But I
The disrespect.
chef, is this connotation of, this 5-course meal, which it can be,
Sure.
right? But it's also just throwing together something very casual, or favorites that we just love, those familiar favorites. I have a chili cheese dog, and I'm like constantly revamping it. And they're like, it's a chili cheese
Oh
dog.
my God.
I'm like, but still.
Ryan, don't have the chili cheese dog.
Can't
You're done. You're done for now, buddy.
I'm headed to the chili cheese dog.
You look like a chili cheese dog right now.
How much did your past influence, like the menu? How did that come about?
Well, so knowing a lot about nutrition and food science, but then at the same time, our menu is very decadent, right? So what I bring to the table is that all my food is fresh. It's real. Is it low calorie? No. But
You
it's
haven't
real
figured out
food.
the low calorie chili cheese
Chili
dog?
cheese
That's what I
dog,
was
double
hoping for.
cheeseburger.
I belong there.
Yeah, 100%.
But at least it's real food. If you're going to splurge and you're going to go out for a night, it's real
So
food.
go there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Not because I'm just completely intrigued. Where did you get your undergrad, and then where did you get your master's?
So I went to CSUN, and then
We have more in common than what? Okay.
graduated
People
from
from
My
masters?
girl.
Wow.
girl.
Everyone from Palmdale goes to
I
CSUN.
guess so.
It's just
We
the
all have
easy.
our- we all have our
we
chip on our
stick in our
shoulders.
box.
Yeah.
We like to
That's
stay
what
in
I
our
was gonna
box.
say. You
So-
guys have a box
Yeah.
too.
I
just
too have
gotta
my
leave
master's
yours.
also. So, but he's saying that it seems like everyone that is from Palmdale has a master's. I would say it's because we have a little chip on our shoulders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, getting out into the real world,
Yeah.
and it feels like exciting and fun.
So
we see
you're
it
you're a
through.
fellow Matador.
Yes.
And where'd you get your master's from?
I went to Hawthorne.
Okay.
So so it was fun and it was great, and I still take all of those elements into what I do every day. I just went a little bit of a different direction in the nutritional aspect.
I thought, wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Masters at CSUN, Hawthorne?
No,
So-
Hawthorne. I got my master. I got my undergrad at CSUN.
You don't get the masters at CSUN.
You
get it
You
at-
can.
You
Okay.
can.
can.
Okay.
But so I didn't.
You did it.
You can go
Okay.
to a different school for
Okay,
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got an AA.
GED.
Yeah, no, I
GED.
got more than the GED. AA.
You went to community college. Okay, so that's awesome.
Thank
And where was life? Here's a question that just popped in my head. Where was life taking you?
Mhm.
During your undergrad, and then through your master's program, and then where did life actually take you?
Okay. All right. So my undergrad is in clinical psychology.
Oh, so completely okay.
Yeah. So again, I had this idea of what I liked and what I was good at, and I loved it. But the reality of life, once I started to do some internships and I was just looking at where my life was and what I wanted to be surrounded with, I had to come to terms with, hey, this wasn't a waste of time. I still learned a ton, and I evolved and I matured. But I said, I'm going to segue, and I can do that, And I got a lot of questions and a lot of criticisms for that. But ultimately, it has to make sense for you.
Yeah,
So.
that makes sense.
Voice, you
Yeah.
good? Can we bring you in on this? Or?
I picked up on something else now that we know that you got a master's degree. And
She's
Yeah.
the smartest
all that.
person here,
Right.
for
He
sure.
says it in every episode.
Well, I picked up on you said we have a lot of kids. How much is a lot
We
of
have
kids?
7.
Oh,
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were referring to kids that just go to your establishment.
No.
You have 7 kids.
Yes, Tony and I have
See,
7.
you guys,
Wow.
thank goodness for
That-
me.
you are
7
busy.
kids.
Yes. So,
Wow.
Fun
Ages.
time at Funburger.
All
for sure.
right.
the
Bree
youngest
King,
is
you
2.
have some competition, girl.
I know.
7 kids.
Yeah, the youngest is 2. all the
Please
way.
talk if you may.
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
talk about the difference in ages and what are they up to?
Well, the 2 oldest are my stepkids, but still very much my kids.
Yeah.
32 and 24.
Nice.
One of them's at Southwestern Law. She's almost done. The other one's at Berkeley. And then the
Wow.
5 youngest, the 5 littles, they're not so little anymore. We've got 13-year-old twins.
Wow.
We've got
That's
an
awesome.
11-year-old, and we've got a 12-year-old boy.
Okay.
Both of them boys, and then a 2-year-old.
Wow.
Wait,
all
I
over
got
the
confused
place.
a little bit.
And the
Busy.
business owner.
We're never gonna keep up with her.
The twins are the boy.
The twins are boy girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy,
okay,
girl.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Got
Mhm.
it. Wow.
Yeah.
So it never a dull moment then.
Never. And they're all so different. I mean, they're completely different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I have to interact with them differently. That's just life.
Yeah.
Do they enjoy being at the restaurant?
No.
No.
I was gonna say you can have a full staff.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, the novelty wears off, and,
yeah.
they've had everything on the menu
Mm-hmm.
in every variation many, many times. And I respect that, and I get it. And
I wanted to ask her, she brought up a point, like, how do you keep it fresh? She brought up a good point, like, they've had it all, the menu. As a business owner owning a restaurant, is there something to keeping it fresh or
Oh,
a
yeah.
new? How do you-
100%. I mean, you have to listen to customer feedback. I always look at things that, maybe I see that are left on the table. Like, why are these fries always, left over? Because I bust tables.
Yeah.
Or like, what's going on? Why is this constantly being said that this is too spicy? So I absolutely
Okay.
let the customers navigate where
Dictate.
I go.
Okay.
I think that's awesome.
Love that. No,
because
for
you
sure,
care
for sure.
about the people, you care about what they think.
Well,
and-
without them, it's not a business.
Yeah.
It's an expensive hobby.
100,000%. You you could probably teach a course in time management. So please talk to us about how you manage the businesses, being a mom, all the kids. What tips or tricks can you share with us?
Well, I've learned that to be very organized, but to be present.
Okay.
Because if I'm at work and I'm thinking about things at home, or I'm thinking about, what I'm going to do that weekend with friends or our upcoming vacation, I've wasted that time essentially that I could be making a difference and doing something. So when I'm at work, I'm in work mode. But when I'm at home, I set those boundaries. I turn off that phone. Yeah. I'm at home.
Yeah. I definitely struggle with that for
Me
sure.
too.
Yeah.
I struggle with that too.
So, okay. And what are you utilizing anything for time management with the kids' schedules and your schedules? Or, I'm tired just thinking about 7 kids.
It takes a village. So I'm not scared to ask for help because I need it. But at the same time, I'm very willing to help when I can, with rides, carpool, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my mom helps a lot. We have a great friends and community. So don't be scared to ask for help.
Yeah. Okay. Love it.
I wanted to ask about Funburger. Was it an idea that has evolved over time?
My goodness,
or did it, how did
if
it?
you saw the original menu and what it is now, it's like
Not even the menu,
different.
but the place, or has that evolved, or was that the idea from the start?
No, actually. So when I first purchased Funburger, it came already with the name.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
it's a franchise, or
it's not. It's
okay.
not a franchise. It's an original concept. But I redid the entire menu, and it started off very casual. We've elevated it slightly, but I still always wanted to be that place where you could just go and not have to get all fancy and dressed up. You can just show up and have a great time.
Okay.
And I've been there before. I mean, you can literally drop off the kids for. You might kick them out, right? They're only allowed to stay for so long, right?
I mean, I've had families linger for a long time, and I love it. I love it. They'll shut the place down.
It's got that family vibe,
Does
like
it?
whether after a sports game or after a long day or an event, you go there, you relax.
It's easy.
It's super casual.
Okay.
All the service is amazing.
Thank you.
I've been there a few times. Yeah.
That's my mom and her husband's new favorite spot.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
when they
yay.
come into town, which we've been out here our entire lives, but when they come from Arizona, we go to Funburger.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the menu's awesome, right? Because
Thank you.
there's something to find for everybody. It doesn't matter what you want; it's on the menu. So that's really cool.
Chili dog for me.
for sure. Hey, boy, since we brought you back in this, let's get a question from you.
Oh, well, one was a newbie mistake in your industry, but I think we kind of covered that. So, what is one of your greatest fears?
Not giving it my all and having that regret,
Okay.
because I can't ever go back in time and say, gosh, I wish I had just tried harder, or I wish I had taken that risk. So I'm just going to make all the mistakes, and they're not all going to be
like it.
mistakes. But I don't want to have regret.
Okay, and one more. Besides the chili dog, what's another guilty pleasure of yours?
So I just brought in a Cajun pasta, and it's near and dear to my heart because it's actually my brother's recipe.
Wow.
He's from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
And so, like I said, I'm not going to bring in anything that doesn't go in line with that casual atmosphere, but I love that I can bring in something so personal. The kids, I didn't even tell them that they was putting on the menu. And as soon as they had it, they were like, wait a minute. Isn't this Uncle Robert's?
That's awesome.
So
actually.
it's cool to have like an extension of my history, and people, unbeknownst to them, are enjoying it every day. But it's a piece of my history, and they get to enjoy that too.
That was your brother?
Yeah.
And he lives in
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been to New Orleans.
Oh,
The
man.
food
it's a fun
is
city.
fantastic,
Amazing, huh?
but oh my God, it's so heavy.
It is.
It
is.
You
Why
gave
are
20
you looking at me when you say heavy?
You did just come back from Peru.
We had eye contact right there.
Everything is battered and deep fried. It's delicious, but man,
It's
it is
decadent.
heart attack city.
We don't say fattening at Funburger. We say decadent.
Decadence. I like it. I like
My boy Henry makes a great SpaghettiOs. Can we get him on the menu?
Oh, yeah.
I always tell my employees it's about the power words.
Yes.
So exactly, not
Wait,
fattening, but
what was the word? It's
decadence.
Decadence.
He's still learning big words right now. GED Ryan.
It's okay. The master's degree will help you.
Exactly. It would. It would. It
Decadence,
would.
all right.
All right, Opal. Can you share a moment that made you feel proud as a business owner?
Oh, it was actually very recently. So my husband and I were working. It was a late shift, and there was a family there who had never been there before. And so whenever they come in, it's their first time. I mean, we always go above and beyond, but this time I really wanted to knock it out of the ballpark. And they had a little boy. And the little boy was loving his, nuggets, his chicken nuggets and his shake. The mom had a glass of wine and her salmon and her Brussels sprouts. And she was just enjoying herself because the son was busy playing. And the dad was watching his favorite team on television with like a beer flight and a rack of ribs.
Okay.
And they were all just
You
like
get all
in
the-
their
that's
zone.
a selling point right
That's
now.
called heaven.
Salmon
Oh my
with
gosh.
I'm
veggies, chicken
telling
nuggets,
you.
and then
Yeah,
rack of ribs.
and
That was a
the game.
commercial.
They
right?
were
And the
there
game.
Yeah,
for
that was
3
perfect.
hours, and I loved it
That
because
should be your commercial.
right,
Honestly,
something
that was
for
awesome.
everybody.
Yeah,
so
that was
I
awesome
was
for
like,
everybody.
that's exactly my vision, and
Okay.
to see it in real life
Yeah.
was like very satisfying.
That's awesome.
I mean,
and do you have the games regularly, like bunch of TVs? And
Absolutely.
I apologize, I haven't been there yet. I will go there, but that is something that will entice me for sure.
Oh yes, we
Okay.
always have the big games. We occasionally have the fights. Just like any big event, but we want to keep it family friendly. So
Yeah.
like it never gets. Luckily, it doesn't get rowdy in there. We keep it
Love it.
nice and comfortable.
I love it. I love it. So, you touched on this subject a little bit, but I want you to maybe go deeper into it. Okay. So, what kind of atmosphere and experience do you want your customers to have when they visit Funburger?
Be comfortable.
Okay.
I want them to be able to just let their hair down, socialize,
Be
linger.
yourself.
Yeah. And I
Right.
don't want them to feel rushed.
Okay.
If it turns into, hey, so-and-so, our friends are coming, let's, hang out a little bit longer. I want them to feel that they're very welcome to do so.
Love that. Love it.
What day is is it Sunday? Do you get a lot of people wanting to watch football? Do you get
Right now we have no statistics, nothing to guide us. We were overstaffed and it's crickets, and then the next day we're understaffed and whew,
Oh, I know how that is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we just roll with the punches and do the best we can. And
I was gonna ask, what is one of the more challenging parts of being a business owner? Like kind of what you just said, like some days are on, some days are off.
well, there's a lot of unpredictability still because I haven't been around. I haven't been around for very long. It's just over a year. So there's still a lot that I need to learn about. This type of, is this season a busy season? Is historically this long weekend a busy long weekend? I don't have those numbers as of yet. So there's just a lot of like forecasting and again, just being willing to roll with whatever comes through the door.
Yeah,
Love it. Love
it's
it.
only been a year.
Just
I feel like
over a
it's
year.
been longer.
I feel like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
too.
That
says
first
a
year
lot,
in
though.
business. That first year in business for sure.
feel like you have a lot of
hard pivots.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard pivots, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you have other established businesses. And
Yes.
I always say, running a business is running a business, whether you're selling insurance, real estate, having a restaurant. What have you learned from your prior businesses that helped you maybe hit the ground running with this business?
If you have an idea, you just got to execute it and work out the kinks as you go along, because I have a tendency to overthink and I'll, mull over things and, I want things to turn out perfect, but sometimes that would just stop the momentum and the progress. So sometimes you just got to roll with it and then figure it out as you're
Like it. So the key would be execution.
absolutely.
I love it.
That's
I
great
love it.
advice because even with our kids, right, or people in today's world, you get the people that say, "I'll do it as soon as this happens."
all the
right?
time.
Like
Right.
I'll start this once this
Yeah.
happens.
Right.
To her point, just do it.
Everyone's looking for like the
Especially-
perfect time.
I
right?
think that's why we love The Voice, right? Like he just does it, right? I mean, that's
Just
why
show up.
Yeah, I mean, he
Just show up.
just
Right, Ryan?
Viva Peru, Viva Peru.
We win.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's great advice, 100%.
Circling back to the restaurant, plans for expansion.
That's always the goal.
Okay.
Right. But right now, I just need to get my system in place, a foolproof system. My other businesses are a franchise, right? And there's pros and cons.
Sure.
I feel like you constantly have somebody in the background, your cheerleader, but then at the same time, it's you have certain limitations,
Yeah,
right?
Like micromanage a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah. But if you like that blueprint, there's a certain sense of security in that.
For sure.
But then when you go out on your own, guess what? You have a lot of options, but sometimes that can be paralyzing.
Yeah.
So
Kind of scary. But
Where do you see this business in the next 5 years?
my short-term goal right now is just to become a fixture in Santa Clarita. I feel like once you have that stamp of approval, and that doesn't just happen randomly, you have to earn that, right? You have
Especially
to,
in this community.
100%.
For sure.
I've been
They-
out here 30 plus years still
And
working
he's
on
still irrelevant. He's still irrelevant,
That's not
guys.
true. We're getting better. We're getting better. No, but you have staying consistent or just
Yeah.
being. The Voice asked me a question, what's my biggest fear? And it was like staying relevant, just being relevant. So
No, it's true. It's an uphill battle.
I love that the community involvement is important to you. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What are you currently involved in our community?
A lot. And I don't feel obligated. I do so because I like it. And also I'm able to see directly the impact that it makes. Like we just did a fundraiser for my kids' school. Well, I get to see where those funds go.
Yeah.
I see that they're building in the library. I see that they're having these events and the popsicle days for the kids. So there's an extra sense of, that feeling that you're doing greater good.
Yeah. Love it.
Do you, I was going to ask her, so we network obviously with other businesses. How do you network with other businesses and what does that look like? And
Yes, I absolutely do. And I don't even look at other businesses, even in the restaurant industry or even in the same cuisine as competitors, because there's enough market share for everybody. Right. Yeah. And I feel like it's just such a waste of time and energy to compare yourself, because there's so many people that can make a good burger and I can enjoy their burgers just as much as I enjoy mine. Yeah. But let me just stay in my lane and do what I do the best that I can.
A common theme that we have on our podcast is the people at the top collaborate, the people at the bottom compete, and you just said it.
Yes.
Right. And we didn't even rehearse that, guys.
No.
Right. That was just from you being you, speaking the truth.
Says a lot about that's what really Santa Clarita is about. And I think that's why you're successful and can continue to be successful, because you have that mindset. To Henry's point, it's not a competition, it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then speaking of collaborations, you had talked about earlier, before we aired, your collaboration with our local breweries.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? And maybe your favorite one and maybe your favorite beer?
Absolutely. Well, we have 40 beers on tap, and not a single beer tap is allocated for a permanent tap. They are constantly rotating.
Okay, that's cool.
And the reason I did that is because there's so much good beer out there. How can you commit?
Great
and there's
point.
seasonal varieties, and then there's limited edition barrels, and then there's local, and then there's hyper local. So the beauty about that is I can always work with new brews. I never have to say no, sorry, I don't have a tap line available. Yeah. I love Pocock. They were one of the first who came and reached out to me and welcomed me in the community. Their coconut cream ale is phenomenal. If you haven't had it, I'm so excited that they expanded. Well deserved, because they are excellent.
Yeah.
And gosh, there's just so many. Lucky Luke, we work with. They're from Palmdale, actually.
Are they really?
Palmdale shout.
Yeah, they're from
Palmdale.
And they're very involved in the community. And I love having opportunity. I don't like to have to limit it, because you never know.
Love it.
I like how she has 40 different
beers. That's what you heard.
That's pretty cool. Chili dog and some beer.
Yeah.
Hey, you just got back from Peru. Let's
no more food.
Let's
no more
it back
food
a little bit.
No more. You said on Monday you're going to start your diet again. I'm sure.
Are you going to see the voice of the stairs?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see tonight.
Why are you looking nervous?
Why are you nervous? Opal, a few more questions and then we'll wrap up this episode. Okay. What advice would you give someone looking to start their business, more specifically a restaurant business?
Oh wow. Okay. Definitely have a plan into place, but let the plan evolve as it may. Timing is crucial. So if it doesn't work out, don't hold on to something just for the sake of holding on, because you could be limiting yourself to other opportunities. Yeah. Right. And then have the balance between listening to feedback and really taking it to heart, but not letting it paralyze you or, eat away at your confidence, because there's something to be said about having a balance there.
Awesome. That's great.
You said clinical psychology.
Yep.
I can see this.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
Gosh.
I was going to shut up the rest of the episode. She's already. She's excited.
Wow. If you have not gone to Funburger,
exactly.
Get to Funburger now.
How do our viewers and our listeners find you and go to your restaurant? What contact information can you share with?
Well, right off Cinema Drive, which I get this question all the time. Where are you guys located? Yep. So it takes time. It's, so we're right there by the Auto Mall on Cinema Drive. We're right there in the corner. And we do catering. We do events. Just ask us. We can do we can even do like a curated menu. We're doing a wedding in October, and there we want to do something different. So That's awesome. So just ask.
Opal, thank you so much.
I was going to tell him, you could tell him that you're by the old Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Or the Old Man Theater and everyone know from Santa Clarita exactly where
The homegrowns will know exactly
yeah,
where that's
the
at, right?
homegrowns. They're not there anymore, but everyone knows exactly where they're at.
It's a great location. You have great parking.
Thank you.
It's on a storefront. It's nice and it's open and it's big and it's a great spot.
Thank you.
Opal, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys.
Any
Thank
other
you.
last tidbits for our viewers or listeners?
No, I hope to meet you. And, if ever you didn't have the greatest experience, just give us an opportunity to make it right.
Love that.
That's
Love
it.
that. All right, guys. That is your exclusive EliteX podcast with my co-host.
The SCV MVP. That was a good one.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
We're out.
Thank you,
We
guys.
out.